Hi everyone, Sadik IAS Academy welcomes all of you for this Max Optional Orientation session. I am Dr. S. Santhakumar, Max Optional faculty in this institute. So why this session I am conducting? Many of you would have many doubts about choosing an optional, especially Max Optional. Can I take Max Optional, or what are the advantages or what are the disadvantages of choosing Max Optional? Like that, so many questions you might have in your mind. So this session would answer many of your questions what you have. So it is about how or why you can choose Max as an optional. If you choose Max as an optional, what are the advantages you have, and of course a few disadvantages also are there. So I'm going to discuss all those things, and at the end of the session, definitely you will have some idea about choosing Max as an optional. So let's get started. The first thing I like to explain briefly about where this optional comes, why it is important. After discussing that, then we'll move on to the major topic, Max Optional. So as you all know, this UPSC exam pattern. So it is a three-stage exam where we have a preliminary and main interview. So once you qualify the preliminary exam, you will be writing the mains exam. The mains exam is a descriptive exam where you have to write the essay paper and the GS paper 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 GS paper along with two optional paper. Two optional paper. Why we call it as an optional paper? Because you are going to choose your subject, the favorite subject or the subject what you are interested. So there are subjects from A to Z, from agriculture to zoology. So you are given a choice. You are going to choose one of the subject out of this subject in which maths is also one subject, right? So that is why it is called optional. There are two papers in this, optional 1 and optional 2. Whatever the subject you choose in this area, so you will be writing two exams based on the subject what you choose, right? So this essay paper along with the 4 GS paper, this is common for everybody. Mr. X or Mr. Y clears the preliminary exam, they are going to face this exam, mains exam, and for everybody the questions are going to be same, and there is no difference here. And only the difference going to be here only in optional paper, because you might choose agriculture or you might choose some other subject, or someone might choose the mathematics. So here the questions are going to be different and the subject is different, so everybody will have their own strategy, right? So ultimately why we are concentrated on this area, because this is what going to decide our rank or the mark, whatever the mark you score here, based on this only what your rank is going to be. So in that case, see this common area, the people those who are preparing for mains, everybody going to read that syllabus, and they are going to cover all the area with respect to the GS and SA, and it is equally going to be tough or equally going to be easy as per the questions. But this area it is individual choice, and you have chosen and you are going to study, and majorly depends on the individual interest, individual capacity, and the subject knowledge what you are choosing. So here, in that case, here this optional subject is what going to make a difference in scoring the mark, right? And every subject or every paper here, it is for 250 marks. It is for 250 marks. Of course, optional 1 and 2, it is also each paper it is for 250 marks, and of course your personality test it is for 275 marks. 275 marks in total. You will be writing the mains as well as interview. So mains exam, it is for this is 500 here, 1750 marks you will be writing, and the interview it is 275 marks. In total you will be having 2025 marks, and out of which, if you score more than 50 percentage of the marks, including your mains and interview, you will be in the top rank. You will be in the top rank. In that case, how to score this more than 50%? See, just I'm saying 50% percentage of mark more than 50. It is not as easy as I'm saying. So it is very difficult to score the marks in the mains area, right? So as I said, here everybody score. See here, maximum the people score around 40 to 45 or 50 percentage of the marks. Remaining marks they have to score from here, right? If you want to boost your uh, marks in mains, you have to score good marks in your optional. Then only you will get to what? The top rank. When you get top rank only, you get a service what you desire for. So in that case, this optional going to play a vital role. So having understood what is an optional, now let's move on to max optional. Maximum students have this question: can I choose max as an optional, or who can choose max as an optional? So I like to answer that question. Before that, let us first see what is the syllabus for max optional. So this is what the syllabus for max optional. As I said, in the optional there are two papers, paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1 and paper 2 we have. So now in the paper 1 we have the unit called linear algebra, calculus, analytic geometry, ordinary differential equation, dynamics and statistics, of course vector analysis. Vector analysis. And in paper 2 we have algebra, real analysis, complex analysis, linear programming problems or partial differential equations PDE, numerical analysis and computer programming, mechanics and dynamics. These are the units in paper 1 and paper 2 together, and every unit has its own syllabus. Like if you consider linear algebra, under the linear algebra you will be studying about vector space, subspace, basis, dimension, and the problems based on the matrices like finding eigenvalue, eigenvectors, and the different kinds of matrices like symmetric matrix, skew-symmetric matrix, like that. You'll be studying in this linear algebra. And similarly, other units has its own syllabus. And in total, you'll be studying, so year 6, year plus 7. So it is going to be 13 units you have to study. As per the syllabus, it is 13 units, 6 units in paper 1, 7 units in paper 2. So as I said, every paper it is for 250 marks. This is also for 250 marks. In this case, every unit here in paper 1, every unit going to contribute on an average 60 to 70 marks here in paper 1. In paper 2, just I am talking about the average calculation only. It is about 50 to 60 marks in every unit from here, paper 2. Okay. Now if you just see the syllabus and look at the unit names, based on that you can come to a conclusion that whether you have studied all this unit earlier or not, and whether you have studied all the units or partially you studied or none of the units you have studied. So there are 3 categories of people here. Based on this I can calculate. Those who have studied all the units, right, that is 100% the people would have studied, right. Those people would be mathematics background, those who had BSc or MSc mathematics, right. Those people would have studied all the units, and some of the people would have studied partly, right, like 50 to 60 percentage or 60 to 70 percentage of the syllabus, I mean the units, right. And in this category, the engineering people and the people with the science background like physics and statistics, like this one, BSc computer science related people, they would have studied some of the units here, not entire units. And many of you other category people, 0 percentage they would have studied these units. So this is what the criteria here, whether you can choose maths as optional or not. So many of the people or some of the people, those who are from maths background would have studied all the units. Those who are from engineering and other science background would have studied some of the units, partly they would have studied, and the remaining people would have not studied. So based on this only, I'm going to say whether you can choose maths as an optional paper or not. Okay. Now, this is the syllabus. Having seen the syllabus, now let me answer the question: who can choose maths as an optional? See here, as I said, the people who have studied already bachelor degree with mathematics as their core subject, they must or should or they could take maths as an optional subject without hesitation, without a second thought. They can take maths as their optional subject. And the people with engineering background, because these people they would have studied already all the units whatever given in the syllabus. Only thing is what they are going to revise. These people, since they have already studied everything, and they are going to revise one more time, and they are going to tune their preparation according to the needs of UPSC. That's it. So revise and preparing techniques alone we are going to change. Preparing strategy, or I can say, right? Only that alone they are going to modify, and this is what with respect to the people those who are chosen as a mathematics as degree in the undergraduation or even post graduation also okay. And then engineering background students, as I said, they would have studied maximum number of units in their engineering background. They would have studied about definitely they would have covered OD, PD, right? And then of course complex analysis they would have studied, and they would have studied about this elective subject. They would have studied dynamics and statistics, some knowledge, and of course uh, the linear algebra we have mathematics. I mean matrix part that they would have studied, and of course calculus they would have studied the basic single, double, triple integration and all they would have studied. So remaining, and of course some people would have studied this fluid dynamics also, and the remaining things it is going to be new for them, and this does not require any specialization. Anybody can study, even the people from commerce, they study this linear programming problem, so anybody can study. This is not a problem. So remaining thing they are going to learn newly, since they have the basic knowledge of mathematics, and this algebra going to be new for them, algebra. And of course real analysis, sequence, series will be studying. Only the approach is going to differ from the calculus, right? So these units whatever they didn't cover, since they have already covered almost 60 percentage of the units in the engineering, only remaining 40 percentage you are going to study newly, right? So since already you covered, already studied 60 percentage, you are going to study only the 40 percentage new units, right? So you are going to strengthen what you know already, and you are going to just study this, and you are going to improve yourself, and you can choose maths as an optional paper. The people those who are belonging to the engineering background, or the people with the science background like physics people or statistics people or computer science people, since they would have studied mathematics as their allied paper, they can choose this maths as an option. So that is why I said here, the people, those who are having bachelor's degree with mathematics as major subject, engineering background students, and bachelor's degree with mathematics as allied subject, these people can definitely choose the math subject as their optional subject. Now, I have given the answer for the question who can choose mathematics as an optional subject. So this would be the big question. Once you come to know that yes, I'm belonging to this category or this category or this category, Now, the next question is, if I choose maths as an optional, what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages? That you analyze later. So let me answer that question also. What are the advantages? What are the disadvantages of choosing maths as an option? Why does someone need to choose mathematics as an optional subject? So let us discuss the pros and cons of choosing maths as an optional subject. See, one thing is that we are writing the exam for scoring marks. Whatever the subject you feel that if you study that subject, if you are having that conviction that I can score mark very well in the subject, you can choose that subject as your optional subject. And scoring I mark, right? That feasibility is there in mathematics optional subject. So in maths, right? So if you write the answer for a question and you will be given maximum number of marks, right? So scoring I, that criteria is very much related in max optional. The first advantages of choosing max as an optional, right? The second advantage, easy to score. Why I'm saying easy to score, right? Sir, you could say that studying mathematics is difficult. So how can I score easily a mark here? No, you might, if you think like that, it is not correct. Why I'm saying this? In mathematics optional, you can score easily. I'll just justify that. See here, you are going to be given some questions and you are going to write an answer for the question. For example, let me take some question like this, right? Some question, suppose solve some second order ordinary differential equation I'm taking. D square plus 5d plus 6 into y, this is equal to e power. And this is what given. If you are solving the second order ordinary differential equation, what is that you have to do? You have to write the auxiliary equation and you have to next to find the complementary function. Next you have to find the particular integral, right? So auxiliary equation, it is going to be m square plus 5m plus 6 equal to 0. If you solve this, you will get two values for m. It is going to be minus 2, minus 3. Based on this, you will write your complementary function. That is going to be what? Cf is going to be a e power minus 2x plus b e power minus 3x, where a and b are arbitrary constants. And if you find the particular integral, it is going to be what? Particular integral, it is going to be 1 by d square plus 5d plus 6, right, into e power x. If you solve this one, you will get to what? It is going to be 1 by 12. That's it. And the solution, it is going to be what? Solution, it is going to be y is equal to complementary function plus a particular integral. This is well known, the second order ordinary differential equation. This is how we solve this. See here, once you know the working rule for a particular topic and you are going to adopt the topic and you are going to write the answer, whether you write or someone else x or y write, the answer is not going to change. First point, every question has its own answer and that too unique answer here, and the answer is not going to change, right? And we have a working rule for every topic. There is a certain procedure for every topic, right? If it belongs to algebra group, we solve it in different way. If it is a differential equation, we solve it in different way. If it is the problem based on numerical analysis, we have a working rule. So every topic has its own working rule or the procedure. We follow that, right? So this procedure is not going to be different for different people, those who are studying mathematics. Whether I study or you study, the procedure is going to be same. And the answer what we are going to get, it is also going to be same, no change in that, right? So in that case, once you are thorough with the procedure and the formulas what you are going to use, and you can write the answer very well, right? And since the answers are going to be unique, and you can come to know once you write the answer, if you got the correct answer, then you yourself can evaluate your paper, right? So this is one of the advantage. One is that it has a certain procedure or the working rule for every topic, and uh, the answer for every question is unique. And one more thing is that here the questions are going to be the definite questions like solve. So you'll have a questions like solve and find the answer for some questions, right? Find the questions patterns are going to be like this: find, evaluate, evaluate, right? To show that, to prove that something, it is going to start like this only, right? Definite questions, every question has a single answer, right? And here we are not going to get a question which are ambiguous question like analyze critically analyze, discuss, right? Those questions are rare here. So those questions you might have in your GS, but here in mathematics optional, so these are the types of questions we are going to have. Every questions are going to be what, having going to have the single answer. So your interpretation going to be simple, and the answer, it is going to be what, based on the procedure what you are going to adopt or formula, right? So in this case, so it is easy to score, because if you know this procedure and formula, you can easily write the answer, you can get the score. So in this sense only I said it is easy to score in mathematics optional. Okay. Next point. Next point is certainty. Certainty, what I mean here, certainty, the syllabus, what is that we have, it is fixed. So that is what the next point. Static subject. Mathematics optional syllabus, it is static, it is not going to be dynamic. It is, you are not going to update your current affairs to answer the question. No current affairs involved here, right? So in that case, it is not going to be dynamic, it is a static paper. And we know the exact syllabus what you have to study. If you study that, if you are thorough with the syllabus, and if you know the, nuances of the subject, then you can easily write the answer for the question. And here certainty, here what I mean here, certainty, see here, since we know the syllabus, we are going to study all the units, and in those units we can say what are the important topics. So why, how can we interpret, or how can we say some topic is important based on the previous year questions? Based on the previous year questions, some area they would ask repeatedly some questions. For example, Green's theorem, Gauss theorem, Stokes theorem in vector analysis. Definitely there will be one question which is for 20 marks or 50 marks. And similarly, with respect to PDE, we have a heat wave Laplace equation. In that area, they are going to definitely ask one question for 15 marks or 20 marks. So, like that, based on the previous year questions, we can definitely say the question is going to be in this area definitely. So, if you strengthen that area, right, if you are thorough with that area, then you can what, easily write the answer based on the question whatever they ask from that area. So certainly we can say certain areas are going to be what, compulsorily they'll ask questions, right? So that is what I mean here, certainty. This feasibility is there in mathematics option. So if you just concentrate the important areas alone, you can answer many questions. Of course, there are some miscellaneous areas that also you have to study, and many major number of questions are going to come from the important areas. So if you just concentrate those areas, you can score very well. That is one advantage. And then next advantage is facilitator. It is going to play the role of facilitator. What I mean is that if you study, if you just practice the mathematics paper, then you are going to what, get the highest mark. See, the people, those who have taken max as an optional, they would have scored more than what, 370 plus. Also, they have scored 360. Many people scored 360 plus, and then many people scored 350 plus, right? And then, of course, getting 300 plus in an optional paper is a good score. So with respect to maths optional, you can easily score 330 plus guaranteed score if you study properly, if you are thorough with all the units, and if you are comfortable in solving the questions in whatever way they ask, and definitely you can score more than 330 plus. Scoring 330 plus with the other optional, it is little bit, I feel it is difficult when compared to mathematics optional. Mathematics optional, it is, if you choose maths as an optional, is what it is easily possible to score 330 plus. So if you score high marks, then what? Your score going to increase. Once your score going to increase, your rank is going to increase. So that what? You will be getting the desired result or desired service. So these are the some of the advantages of choosing maths as an option. And of course, here when you write the answer for mathematics optional, there is no much grammar involved. No English correction is required, right? Maximum we use ends, thus those words only we use to fill the answer. So grammar part we no need to worry about in maths optional. Of course, we have to write properly, but not much required here. And one more advantage is that the consistency of the result. So the people, those who are getting through with mathematics as an optional, every year just the people are what consistently clearing the UPSC exam from mathematics background, maths as an optional background. And more importantly, those who are clearing with maths as an optional, they are getting what top rank more than, I mean, the top 50 they will be there, and or in the top 100 people, many people are there from maths background, right? So that is why you can consider maths as an optional. These are some of the advantages if you choose maths as an optional. Anyway, every coin has both sides, right? The same way, maths option also has some of the the limitations. They are, students always feel this, the syllabus is huge for mathematics optional. The syllabus is not huge here. Of course, we are having 13 units. The syllabus seems to be huge because we need huge amount of time for preparation. That is the reason we feel the syllabus is huge. Why? Because we have to write everything and we have to work out many problems. So when we do so, we need to put huge amount of time in the preparation. So that is why we feel that the syllabus is huge, or else it is moderate only. So only the preparation time it takes, right? So that is why we feel, or the students feel, the syllabus is huge. This is considered to be one of the limitation of choosing maths as an optional. And of course, time consuming, as I said, because every unit, every problem we have to write, we have to solve, and we have to know the nuances, and we have to know the formulas. So many things are there. So that is why it is what taking time. The next one is that this is considered to be now people consider this is the major uh, limitation of maths optional, not overlapping with the GS. So whatever you study here, it is not going to contribute for your GS preparation. Okay. If you choose some other optional, uh, they can, they are involved what in helping your GS preparation, but here it is not so. So your GS is separate and your maths optional is separate, right? And one thing is that if you feel no GS is a little bit tricky or something like that, the people, those who are cleared use with maths as an optional, they felt some relaxation time, they used no maths and they solve, and they like that they improve themselves. So this is actually one of the advantage only. If you are from a maths background, if you are studying GS, after some time you might feel something. In that case, you can just take your maths book or maths note, you can work and you can prepare. So you can consider this as a advantage, or some people consider this as a disadvantage only. So yes, it is there. So your GS intersection, your maths optional, GS intersection, your maths optional is empty. There is no syllabus common for both. So you have to study GS separately, you have to study Max separately. So what is that? You have to organize your time properly to allot for GS and Max separately. So that is there. Next is no story. So you cannot write a story in Max optional paper. If you read the question, you know the answer, go with the procedure and you can answer the question. Or else you cannot create your own story and you can write here. Only that algebra paper, it is a theory oriented paper where you have to write for a few questions, you have to write your own proof in some cases, right? That case you can try your own way of writing a proof, or otherwise, right? You cannot write a story, you cannot cook up your own story and you cannot write in max paper. If you know the answer, you can proceed and write. If you don't know, you don't know, that's it. So that is considered to be one of the disadvantage of max paper. These are some of the limitations, right? And every limitation has its own advantage also. Just we have to consider that. Next, how the question paper patterns are going to be. That let me give. So, as I said, there are 13 units in the max optional paper. And paper 1 we have, paper 2 we have, paper 2. In paper 1, paper 2, there are going to be what totally 8 questions they will be asking. 8 questions in each question paper. It will be like section A and section B. Section A, section B. In section A, we'll have 4 questions. Section B will have 4 questions. Same is the case for year 2. We'll have section A, 4 questions. Section B will have 4 questions, right? In this 4 question, the first question and the fifth question, here also the first question, fifth question compulsory. Compulsorily we have to write. And every question will be for 50 marks. Every question will be for 50 marks. And in paper 1, section A, section B, first question, fifth question. Paper 2, section A, section B, first question, fifth question, compulsory question. You have to write the question without leaving it. And here there will be 5 subdivisions, or in some case 4 subdivisions. Right? 5. Every question will be for 50, and the remaining 2, 3, 4. So here it will involve what? 20 mark question, 15 mark question, 10 mark question. Every question again for 50 marks they will ask. Here 2. Here 5 subdivision will be there. Every question for 10 marks. And here 6, 7, 8. Again, they are going to be for 50 marks. Every question here it is for 50 marks, 50 marks, 50 marks. And here 20 marks, 15 marks, 10 mark question in a combination they will ask. The unit with respect to paper A section, here it is going to be linear algebra, then calculus, and then analytical geometry. The question from these units will come in the section A part. In the section B part, we'll have questions from ODE and then statics and dynamics and then vector analysis. In this area or these units, in these units only what question going to come from the section B part. And similarly here in the paper 2, the first section A, 4 questions are going to be from this area. So that is algebra, which is model algebra, and we'll have real analysis, complex analysis, linear programming problem. In this area only the questions are going to come here. And here question 5, 6, 7, 8. So here remaining 3 units. Remaining 3 units are going to be PDE, CDE, and numerical analysis and computer programming, and of course mechanics and dynamics. In this area the questions are going to come. And the compulsory questions, definitely this 5 questions will be from this unit only. You cannot skip any unit. And similarly this 5 questions are going to be from these 3 units. So again same way, here 5 questions are going to be there. At least one question will be from one unit. Each unit, the questions will be from here, this question. Similarly, same way, this fifth question will have the questions from these three units, right? So this is how the question paper pattern is going to be. And we'll have, sir, questions will be tough or easy or what, sir, you may ask. Questions you can write, we can categorize them into easy type of questions, moderate type of questions, and then advanced type of questions, right? Whatever you prepare, the same question appears in the question paper means then it is considered easy. Whatever the topic you prepare, the same question, I mean questions appear based on the topic, then it is okay, moderate question. And whatever the area you prepare, and the question will appear, but it will take some more time to solve the question. That question considered to be advanced question. That's it. The question from easy to moderate, it will be around 80% of questions will fall under this category only, right? Easy and moderate questions. Remaining 20% of questions definitely from advanced area. For that you have to just, if you prepare enough, then you can crack those questions also. So this is how the question paper and its standard is going to be, right? Next, what I'll be doing in the classes. So what I can do in the classes. First thing is that I can cover 100% of the syllabus. I'll not leave even a single topic. I'll cover every topic. That is the word I'm giving. So every unit, every topic, I'll discuss in the class. Enough number of problems, not only the topic and its concept. We will discuss more number of problems. These things you feel only when you attend my classes. So more number of problems in every unit I'll cover, and every topic I'll cover. I'll not leave even a single topic, and every the theory part. So maximum our mathematics optional questions, maximum it is based on problem oriented only. There are few theory areas that also we'll cover. So whether it is problem part or theory part, everything will be covered in the class, right? And this one, every every batch or uh, batch every batch will have what, 6 months duration, 6 to 7 months, 6 to 7 months duration for completing the four, I mean all units. Why you are taking 6 to 7 months, you can ask me. It is mathematics. I have to write everything on the board. You have to copy, right? So since I'm writing everything on the board, right? If you can speak two sentences in 2 seconds, but if you write, it will take time. That is the difference. Why we are taking 6 to 7 months to complete the course, right? Of course, other optional subjects might take 3 to 4 months, but here, since it is a max optional, since we have to discuss everything on the board, we have to write everything on the board, it will take 6 to 7 months to complete the syllabus, right? And of course, the timing will be in the morning, 7 to 9. Morning 7 to 9 is the timing. In some cases, evening also will be there. That is going to be 6:30 to 8:30, right? So this is what class timing. This is the duration, and this is the promise I'm giving. Every unit, every topic, maximum number of problems we will solve. That is what required for your preparation. Okay. And then after completion of every unit, you will have two component tests. That means every unit I'll split into two parts. First part one test will have, second part another test will have. So two component tests will have. And then after writing this two component test, you will have unit test. So every unit will have what? Three tests altogether. Every unit will have three tests. Once I complete the unit, we'll have component test, two component tests, and then what? One full test for that unit. So three tests we will have for each unit. This is in the course, right? Without this component test and unit test, we'll have separate test series for mathematics. Test series for mathematics. We'll have a exclusive test series for mathematics optional. So this is comes under the course. This is separate, right? Why you have to write the test? That you can ask me. Why you have to write the test? There are many things we can learn from the test. One thing is that you can uh, first thing you can revise. Once you get ready for the test, you will be revising what you have studied. You will be revising what you have studied. Second thing, once you practice writing or once you practice problem solving, your speed will improve. This is very much required in writing of answers in mathematics also. So speed will improve. One speed, and then one more thing is that accuracy. Accuracy. So your answers, once you solve many problems, your mistakes will be reduced. You will not make many mistakes. And then time management will learn. For a question, how much time you have to take. Those things you learn by yourself by writing tests only. And also one of the another important factor is that space management. Space management, right? Within the given space, you have to write your answer. So that management will come once you practice many number of uh, tests, right? So these are the things you can learn by writing the test series and the test. Okay. So this we are going to do. Those things I'll be doing, and this is what we'll do in the class, right? So once you complete your syllabus, no, one more, no, I'm completing all 13 units, and you are going to do all this process, properly. When you do so, after completing this, and once you revise the full thing, it is not going to take much time. That is, I'm sure, because I've tested already, right? See, only the learning process, only the learning, first time when you are into the course, that time only the course completion will take time. That's it. Once you do all these things, once I complete the course, to revise the max of the syllabus, to revise the whole uh, material, it is not going to take much time in compared to other options. We are not going to study line by line. We will be having separate max formula sheet and the other technique what I'm going to say, and the revision is going to be very very easy here. Once you complete the full course, revision it is going to be easy, right? And in this case, see, it is going to be easy for you. Revision and studying. Only thing is what it takes 6 to 7 months to complete the course. It is there. If you study anywhere, they will take this much time if they want to properly cover the syllabus. Okay. So this is there. Next, you will be asking about, sir, what are the books we have to follow? When it comes to books, right? Uh, I may not recommend many books. Whatever I give in the class notes, that is more than enough. What we solve, what we practice in the class notes, more than enough. Along with that, I'll give the homework, the class notes and the homework. What we are going to do, what I'm going to do on the class. These things more than enough for the preparation. Along with this, we'll be solving the previous year UPSC question also, right? Whenever I teach some topic, some question appeared on the topic in the previous year, that also I'll solve in the question. So previous year UPSC question and my class notes and the homework problem. If you just follow this, that is enough as a material for your mathematics option. But some people might not be satisfied with this answer. For them, I'll give the separate what the book list also, no problem. For according to me, this is enough. If you wish to have some book, I'll give the reference book. But actually, what happens, no, if you just buy book means for each unit you have to buy 2 or 3 books, right? So no need to waste that much money, and no need to do that also, because everything I'm going to do. So I'm going to refer many books. I'm going to just accumulate everything, and I'm going to give as a note. Okay, in the class that you follow. That is more than enough. So preparing the selecting the questions, which question has to be taught in each unit, that I will take. Just you have to follow what you have to do in the class. Just write the notes properly. Be regular student. Write the notes properly. Write homework. I mean, do the homework in your home properly. Then, yeah, of course, we are going to solve previous year question. That is going to give some idea. So these things are enough to have as a material for mathematics topic. Okay. Of course, you might ask the book list. I'll say the book list also. And for uh, linear algebra, vector analysis, complex analysis. For these units, you follow the reference book as some series book. Some series book, some series on linear algebra, vector analysis, complex analysis. Of course, for complex analysis, if you want, Armugam book is there. That book you follow. For vector analysis, if you want Shanti Narayan book, that book you can follow for vector analysis. Linear algebra, of course, some series book. Along with the sum series book, you can follow this extra book if you want. Similarly, for calculus real analysis, we have mathematical analysis. Mathematical analysis by S.C. Malik and Savita Arora. Savita Arora. And of course, analytical geometry, we have a book, analytical solid geometry, Shanti Narayan. Shanti Narayan book, if you want, you can follow. In every book, there will be definition what is what. And problem, as a problem, they would have solved 3 or 4 problems. Other problems will be in the exercise, right? So we have to solve the exercise and analytical geometry. And of course, real analysis, there is one more book, Shanti Narayan book, Elements of Real Analysis, that you can follow along with this S.P. Malik and the Savita Arora book, Mathematical Analysis. Okay. So next is ordinary differential equation, partial differential equation, fluid dynamics. For all this, MD writing on your book is enough. Separately, for both this one and this one, MD writing on you. Writing on your book, ordinary differential equation, partial differential equation, and fluid dynamics separately, separate book by the same author, MD Rasingani. And for algebra, so it is actually modern algebra, contemporary abstract algebra, contemporary abstract algebra by Joseph A. Gallian. See this book, it will have a proper definition. What is group, what is subgroup, what is ring, all those things. Only few problems will be solved in the book, and the remaining things they would have given as a exercise. So for that, for many questions, we have to refer a different kind of book. As a reference book, you can have for this, right? For algebra, Joseph Gallian book. And of course, dynamics and mechanics, statistics, for this, we'll have Krishna series book. And linear program problem, whatever the book you have, you can follow. Suppose you followed some book that you follow, or else you no need to follow whatever the notes I'm giving in the class, that is enough. And similarly for numerical analysis and computer programming, whatever I give in the class, that is enough. So if you want numerical analysis, we will have a Shastri book or Kandasamy, numerical analysis by Kandasamy. So these books you can follow for the different units. As a what to say. It is just a reference book, but for many problems, you have to go for different books only. That I'll take that. Okay. So I hope so. I've given some input about the mathematics optional. Why you can choose mathematics in optional, and if you choose, what are the advantages, disadvantages? What is that I'll be doing in the class? What you have to follow? Those things I've explained. Okay. And the next batch for the 2023, we are going to start a new batch, mathematics optional batch. In 15th June 2022 onwards, the new batch we are going to start. Please enroll for that. And those who feel that mathematics is difficult because of the core units like algebra, linear algebra, analysis, real analysis, complex analysis, calculus, I have separate module for them. That module, in that module I'll be teaching the core units. That is where the people from mathematics optional feel difficult. For them, I've devised that new module, so you can join that module also. It is a separate module. You can join and you can learn the analysis and the algebra part. So I've given enough input with respect to mathematics optional. So I hope so this helps for you choosing the mathematics as optional, and choose the right optional, and score good marks in mains, and be the topper in the 2023. All the best. Thank you.